This is from the Petty Corner. I'm Petty Diana, and today I have number 4 ranked light heavyweight Lethal Luke Simonds. Welcome to the Petty Corner, Luke.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Okay, so last year you were named Prospect of the Year. You've had all these exciting fights. I think all of them ended in knockout, except for one of them. And you've been making a lot of noise online, and so has the rest of the light heavyweight division. But yeah, so how has the past year been for you?
It's been great. A lot of just it's different, a lot of changes, and just trying to find my groove and what I'm doing to make a consistent income, you know, because my girlfriend, I couldn't do it without her. So she's really been helping spot me, and she's kind of been like the D Devlin that, Conor McGregor had in his corner to get him to where he is now. So that's how she is for me.
I love it. We always love a supportive partner. It just makes life so much easier. But I believe like one of your not shows, but one of your matches, they did say that at first your dad and your girlfriend did not want you to do this. So like, when was the turning point that made them like get on board and be like 100% supportive of it?
I guess just when they saw how good I was, and I mean, my dad, he always is like, when I played and I did wrestling in school, like I did wrestling in middle school, everyone else was kind of turning into men faster than me, and I don't know. He always just he didn't I don't know, he didn't give me the belief in myself that I feel like he should have. He kind of was just like okay with me, you know. He just figured I was gonna not be able to beat everybody because I was younger at the time, and I don't know. But when I started believing in myself, and especially after building up the confidence from training for now, July will be 13 years of doing like natural bodybuilding stuff. So all the confidence I've built up in my own, um, when I applied it and I believed in myself and started getting knockouts and winning, they were just like, I don't know. That's all they needed to see, I guess. And then they were on board. But I mean, yeah, it's a crazy sport, and I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think I could be the best. So, because some people will do power slap and get in and maybe just even get knocked out for some money. But like, I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as a life changing opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a crazy sport, so I can see where there would be like concern, like, please don't do that because I don't want to see you get knocked out, your health, and
Yeah.
and all that. But I'm glad that they are on your side now and fully supportive. But I was also going to ask you about your confidence because you are probably one of the most confident people that I know, and like the self belief. So that all stemmed from your bodybuilding.
Yeah, yeah, because before that, I mean, I was confident and I was good at sports and mostly like team sports, but I don't know. But like people will ask me how I have the confidence to know I could be good at power slap, and it's just because I put in the work every single day, and most people don't do that. So as long as you put in all that work, like you should be the best. That's how I look at it. So that's why I have so much confidence, is because I know if I'm putting in all this work, like why not me? So.
I love it. Okay, and then so you grew up playing wrestling and team sports. What kind of team sports did you play?
I did baseball. I think that was the first one I did. A little bit of basketball, but I didn't love basketball. Um, I did cross country, which that's kind of team sports sometimes, how they, I guess your school competes against other schools. Um, but then it's also kind of solo. But yeah, I didn't like cross country at the time then because I was skinnier, but it's funny now that I'm more muscular and heavier, I like running. So it's just because I had to figure out my running form and all that. Um, and then football, I was quarterback for 5 years, with my dad being coach. So, um, and then my first year, I played for another team, but then my dad started coaching. So I did a little bit of everything. And then yeah, wrestling. That wasn't a team sport, I guess. No, that was I don't know. But yeah, I did a little bit of everything.
I love it. Did you find it hard, like when you came into power slap, because of the mechanics of baseball, swinging and lifting your foot on your rotation? Was that hard for you? Because
Yeah.
I think your very first strike you did step, right? Correct, if I remember
Well,
correctly.
they they called it clean, the one I knocked out Caesar with, and because it's like it was borderline, and they had just literally before season three implemented the heel lift,
Yeah,
and like I remember before that fight, I was in the hotel and they come to all of our hotel rooms and give us a paper of all the rules, and I looked over all of them and I saw that they implemented the little heel raise because I knew what happened with Russell and Jackie Cataline before, but that heel raise I knew it in the back of my mind, but obviously I tried to keep them down completely so that you know if something did come up a little bit then it would be called fair. And a lot of people, I don't know, were mad that I got the call that that was a good slap when they hadn't. But I don't know, the rules changed and we all got the same rules applied, and I don't know. I guess I took advantage of it. So
yeah. Well,
I'm
sometimes it can
glad
be
they called it
controversial, and it
fair.
also depends on the refs and who's watching, because like their definition of like little movement is like different from another ref's movement. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I guess
Well,
it just comes down to who's refing and what they see out there.
if you look at how I got that knockout, it's like I'm leaning back, and you can tell I'm not pushing into the slap for it to help me. So I think that they could just tell since it was so clean. I mean, I've never clubbed. I never got called for clubbing. So I think that's kind of part of it. They don't want to be so strict that I don't know, it makes the sport boring. So
Yeah. And I think I did read online somewhere that you do yoga now because of Joe Rogan. You implemented that into
yeah.
your training.
Yeah, it's not every single day or even every single week. It's like I use it as a tool like when my back's tight, but every so often. And it would be nice to do it like 3 times a week. But it's just so hard when you're trying to make sure you get stronger, and it all that the energy you put into yoga takes away from the energy you put in bodybuilding. So sometimes I sacrifice a little bit of flexibility for more power, but I definitely use it as a tool.
Yeah, it can be like counterproductive. But when you
Yeah.
went on the show, you were a security guard, and I think we just briefly spoke about it. You did quit your job, and what's life been like since then? Since quitting your job, like what have you
Um,
been up to?
Mostly just focusing on being like the best power slapper in the world. Um, let's see. Oh, and I've been trying to get my personal trainer certification. I'm gonna make that happen. Um, I've been kind of slow about it, honestly. Um, just because, especially as a fight's coming up right now for me. Um, I don't know. It's just not my main priority, but at the same time, I need to have another source of income because I mean, my girlfriend, she's got a lot of the I guess financial burden on her, and she still works, but then at the same time, I'm I'm always winning, and I always tell her, I'm going to get the max amount of money, and then I always come back and I do get the max amount of money that I can get every single time. So she's kind of been like, I don't. I've been catching a little bit of flack from her family and a lot of people, but also I'm trying to be world champion, and it's like I've just heard like Khabib, like and a lot of those kind of guys in the UFC, they dedicate their whole life to the sport, and then they're champions. So it's hard, but I know that if I prove that I can be the champion and then all the money keeps coming in, then they're not gonna say nothing. But it's just been, I have to deal with a lot of stuff right now. And
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Does it does it affect like your daily life and stuff, like all the outside noise coming in about that?
yeah, But at the same time, no, because I just I know me and my girlfriend Natalie's relationship, and there's hard times sometimes, but I just keep, staying focused and grinding. And then when I do get the opportunities to fight, I bring in the max amount of money. And it kind of like, as long as I'm at least doing that, um, and she sees the vision. She's helping me out right now. We just got like an Amazon, whatever it's called. Um,
Like the Amazon selling?
Yeah, I'm in like some program where people can go to Amazon through my link and see the supplements that I use, and even if they don't use my like if they go to Amazon through my link and then buy something, I get like a percentage of
Oh, cool.
like
You'll
four
have to give me your
percent.
link so I can put it in this video
Yeah.
later. But so it's like an
Okay.
affiliate link. That's cool.
Yeah, it's in my what do you call it? But by my bio
Your
on
Instagram bio?
Instagram. Yeah, on the
Okay,
link.
cool. I'll grab it from there. And you did like slip something out saying that you have a match coming up. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. Right now, which I was kind of pissed, and I made a post about it on Instagram last night because I was running at like 12 a.m. like a madman, and just you know in that a fight mode. But I have Allen coming up, and it's not the match I wanted, but you know I think it'll be fine, and um you know he's a great competitor, and I still haven't knocked him out. So I'm planning to knock him out, and then I could say I've knocked out every single one of my opponents, even though I didn't knock him out the first time. Um, so yeah, I got him, and but yeah, I did go off on Turp online, and just because I originally was supposed to fight Turp, and he backed out for the fourth time, and like, cause he's had Russell twice, and then John Davis he was supposed to fight, and then me, and I'm like, I needed to go off on him and just put it out there, cause um he's saying it's because he thinks he's doing what's right for his family and all that, which I understand, but at the same time I don't understand because I don't have kids, um and I really love Turp, to be honest, but I had to call him out, and there's literally everybody that I fought has kids except for Alan. I believe I don't think Alan has any kids,
No,
so
I
it's
don't think he
like
does either.
I'm just like, and he even in the DMs, um, before the fight even got like, started getting booked, and then they changed it. Um, he was like, "It's gonna be tough on you when you lose to me," trying to get in my head. I'm like, how are you gonna talk shit in the DMs, and then not even do the fight, and then say it's because you have kids, but it's like other people have kids too. And he wouldn't even have the house that he's in if it wasn't for Power Slap. So I'm just like, it's not making sense. I just had to call him out, and I really would rather fight Turk than Allen, but it's still on the table for
So,
the
do
future.
you feel like this kind of sets you back because, you've already beat Allen, even though it went to a split decision, like you still beat him, but now you're ranked number 4 and Turpin is ahead of you. So that could have been like your chance to the title. Or do you feel like a win over Allen still can put you in contender spot for the winner of Wolverine and Russell?
Yeah. The fight with Allen or anybody in the top 10, it's still it'll be enough to give me a title shot, I believe. I mean, especially if I do it in knockout fashion. But I wanted to be Terp just because I know Terp's entertaining. A lot of people like watching him, and he's fought the champ. So I don't know. I just feel like it would mean more to the average viewer if I knocked out Terp than Allen. So 'cause I already feel like I knocked out, or I would have knocked out Allen if I had more training on my slap. So, but I mean, I'm gonna show that I plan to knock Allen out, and I plan to knock him out cold too. I don't even want to be TKO, nothing. I want him to be out cold. I'm tired of knocking people out and then getting up like TJ and then Garrett. I want my opponents to get knocked out cold. Like at the same, like I don't want them to die or nothing, or but I want it to be definitive.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's gonna come for the same thing. I haven't spoken to him yet, so I don't know. But just, you guys had that little tiff or whatever you want to call it at the last power slap in the high
Mhm.
roller room, and
Yeah,
then just the history there. So it is kind of like a good storyline, and I'm sure you guys are both coming to take each other's heads off. So I'm sure the
yeah,
feeling is mutual.
yeah. Allen really is kind of like a rival for me but at the same time, he doesn't feel like I never felt endangered by his power when I fought him. So it's like I'm not really worried about him, but he
Hmm.
has a good chin. But
Well, he
I
knocked
I,
out
I think
Vern.
my adjustments.
He's
Yeah,
one.
I know,
He's
which
one of
is
three
like,
people.
but then also everyone says Vern is kind of like a glass cannon, which it's kind of true, but also sometimes he does take good hits.
Yeah.
I love Vern. Vern's awesome. Me and him have a lot of respect for each other. Um, because especially at his age, he's 40, I'm pretty sure, and he's still competing with guys that are more closer to their prime. So,
Yeah.
um,
And you've only won the coin toss one time out of all four of your matches. Were
or
you like a
two,
little bit more nervous? Oh, you won it twice?
50%. I went first
50%.
against Allen, and I went first against Garrett.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I don't know. I must have missed one of them. So, were you nervous that you were gonna have to take the slaps first
For who?
for any of them that you lost?
Oh, oh no, I'd rather get slapped first, to be honest, because I've never knocked somebody out, or yeah, I always get hit first before I knock somebody out because it wakes me up. Um,
Yeah, and I
like
think the
TJ
only
hit me
time.
three
Sorry.
times. You're good, you're good. TJ hit me 3 times, and then I knocked him out. Caesar, he hit me so hard. He hit me right on the button, but then he also twisted both of his feet, throwing all of his body weight into it, but I still got up and then I knocked him out. So I don't know. I think when I get hit, it puts me into like autopilot mode, and then the adrenaline's there and then the knockouts just come. So I feel like going first, I don't have the same power when I go first until I get hit. But I'm always gonna choose to go first if I get the opportunity, and I do still want to try to get a knockout to where I don't even have to get hit.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just how it's been.
it'll prolong your career. Um, and I've heard a lot of strikers say that they rather get smacked first, just or slap first, just
Mhm.
because of that. Like it just gets them like more hype
Yeah, I
and
think Azael is like that too.
yeah. But I think the only time you were ever dropped was from a foul. You've only been dropped once.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
against
crazy.
Caesar. Yeah, that's what
And
people say. Caesar's the only one that's dropped me, but then they forget to mention that it was a double pivot. So.
yeah. But when you were on the show, you spoke about when you were 19 years old, you had lost your mom and she had MS. And I can imagine that loss at all, and then especially at a young age. So, how did you deal with that?
The only way I really dealt with it and got through is God, number one, because we're a very spiritual family. We're a Christian family. The faith in God's helped me get through it, and then the gym, because the night my mom passed away, I was like, we kind of knew she was gonna pass away, but when I was 19, I didn't think she was actually gonna pass away. I was kind of oblivious to it because I'm like, there's just no way she's actually gonna die. And then she ended up passing, and then I'm like, well, I was glad she was in peace because she was tired of being trapped in her body. because she got to the point where she was like a vegetable for the last little month or two, to where she couldn't even move her arms. Um, so we were, I went to bed that night. She passed away. Everyone came to our house, and I had like a full house full of family and friends, being there for us. And then I just went in my room and went back to sleep. Like my dad had woke me up to let me know my mom was like dying, kind of basically. And the last thing I told my mom while she was kind of like dying was that I loved her, and then she said it back like the best she could. But yeah, I just was like, I went back to bed and I had some peace about it because I knew, it was for a reason and she was in a better place. But then the very next morning, I went to the gym and was just doing everything like I had been in the gym. I really started growing more in the gym and I had an extra gear to push harder. But yeah, the God in the gym, that's what got me through it. And then I had a dog pass away like 3 months after my mom passed, and she was a puppy still. She was 3 years old. She was just having crazy seizure episodes, like to the point where it was monthly and like 12 a night. And yeah, when I put that dog down that I was super close to, then I all the tears came out like 3 months later, and it was rough, but um, that was like a way like God was letting me grieve my mom is kind of that dog passed away. But yeah, I had two of the sweetest people in my life pass away. Like my mom, who I was a mama's boy, and then my dog that was young. So that, you know, it really hurt me. And I wasn't mad at God. Some people would think that I was mad at God, but I just really was more sad than anything.
I'm so sorry. Like I said, I couldn't imagine going through that, especially at such a young age, because like you just became an adult and trying to figure out like life and just not having your parents there. And I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm so
it's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. It
Um,
was tough.
yeah.
It was.
Okay. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But it's all a part of your story and makes you who you are. And what is a piece of advice that you can give someone who is going through a hard time, like
Yeah,
watching a loved one struggle with disease or they just lost somebody?
yeah, yeah. Um, it's hard. The best advice I can say, just keep going and trust that it's for the greater plan. Um, and sometimes like God just wants us to grow, and sometimes the people that um don't even deserve to die, they die in a way as like a greater purpose for the greater good. And I now, with her passing, I kind of had a perfect childhood until I was 19. My parents were together. Everything was good. But now, when my mom passed, I'm able to relate to people, and I'm just using her passing as part of my story to where I can understand what people go through to an extent. Like, there's a lot of people that have had a lot worse things happen to them in their lives. But yeah, really just keep going. And I've had times where I was addicted to stuff, and I was just like so depressed to where, you know, I was addicted to some substances, and the sun would go up and the sun would go down, and I'd just sit in bed all day long, dealing with withdrawals. And I knew I had to keep going. I wasn't going to end it. And I even cried out to God for the opportunity with Power Slap when I applied, and I was going through like the worst of times, and He answered my prayers like for the first time in my life, to where it's like something I wanted so bad. He gave me an opportunity. I was just like, God, if you give me this opportunity with Power Slap and I'm able to make a difference in the world, I'm gonna give all the glory back to you. And the fact that that prayer got answered, and when I started doing power slap, everything started clicking, just boom, boom, boom. It just felt like it, you know, I really saw God work in life through that.
I'm glad that you were able to move past all of that. I don't want to say past like the passing of your mom and your dog because that's something you'll have
Oh
to deal
yeah.
with for the rest of your life. But the substance and everything, I'm
Mhm.
glad you're past that part of your life. A lot of people turn to that when they are struggling with other things. But how did you stop the substance? Did you have to go out and get help, or you just like woke up one
Yeah.
morning and was like, I'm gonna stop?
Uh, I we got help through a rehab facility, and then I had times where I got back on substances, and then I had to go through rehab again. And it's definitely not easy, but I just I had to just get to the point where I was tired of being sick and tired, like everyone always says. And I mean, it's still hard to this day. I still want to go back because those old patterns get so ingrained in your day to day, especially with all the years of those patterns. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just had to do it to the point where I was burnt out.
Hmm.
'Cause it was
Well,
an
I just
awful
want to say I'm
moment.
proud of you. I've had people very close to me that struggled with addiction, and it's not easy for anyone involved, like whether you're an outsider looking in,
You're
like a
right.
family member or friend. And I'm
It
assuming it's not.
hurts. It hurts the people around you almost more than it hurts yourself. You know. So that's the hardest part. And then even though you don't want to keep doing it, you feel like it's hard. It's just hard to stop. Especially when withdrawals are disgusting and you just feel like you can't get out of them sometimes, and you might have to go to work or something, and you push off the withdrawals later and later so you can get through a day of work. So um yeah, it's rough. But you just have to keep going, and kind of at some point you kind of get burnt out. That's the best way I could say it. But if you can nip it in the butt earlier, that's the best way, but sometimes it just has to run its course.
Well, I just want to say I'm so proud of you because it is hard. And I am sure that your mom is really proud of you because you overcame so much after her passing, and you're following your dreams and you're succeeding at it. So I'm sure you may, sorry, I'm sure you make
Thank
her really proud too.
Yeah, I'm trying, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. She wouldn't want me to do power slap, I don't think. But at
Well,
the
she wouldn't
same
want her little
time,
baby getting hurt.
yeah,
I wouldn't want my kids either. But if they
yeah.
wanted to, I would support them.
I think from her point of view, right now, and her being in heaven, I don't know what all she can see or knows what's going on down here. But I know that like there's a spiritual connection there to where like she kind of knows has a sense of what's going on spiritually at least. So I think, she understands it way more than even I do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're racking up the wins. You were prospect of the year. You were a standout on the show. You have a big match coming up. But yeah, that's a lot to be proud of. And just before we get out of here, I'm gonna name some of your past opponents and people in your weight class, and you're just gonna tell me the first word that comes to your mind when you think of them.
Oh no.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna start with Caesar.
I guess a good dude. Yeah, he's a really nice dude.
TJ.
TJ, salty.
Garrett.
Garrett, hmm, what could I say? Garrett, he's a hard opponent. What's a good word for Garrett? I don't know. Um, I don't know. Tough guy, tough opponent.
Love it. Okay, Russell.
Russell. Oh, the first thing I thought of was short, but I like Russell. But yeah, short.
Vern.
Vern, old. But I love Vern, but he's old in my head for power slapping.
Alan.
What's that word? Cocky. Yeah, it's cocky. Very cocky. I feel like Alan's way too cocky for his skill level. He's overconfident is how I feel about Alan.
Okay. What about Austin Turpin?
Um, um missed weight a bunch. That's the first word that comes to my mind about Austin. Um, oh no. Excuses. That's Austin.
And finally, the champion Wolverine. Oh, what do you think about Wolverine unretiring?
Um, I mean, I feel like it was a good thing for him to not retire. And if I don't know what Power Slap's doing at all, they might just be throwing some money at him that's compensating him to stay around. And he said he was having money problems or something along those lines on an interview. Um, so, but yeah, I think it. I think he's past his prime. I know he's 35, which I thought he was older, but like he's gonna make some more money, but also I'm coming and you know, I feel like he's gonna have to deal with getting knocked out by the time I get to
Shots fired.
him.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is your prediction for Wolverine and Russell?
Uh I think Wolverine's gonna win, honestly. But it could go either way if Russell has his power and his feet down and whatever. But I just think Wolverine, I've seen him get hit too many times to where he gets up no matter what. And Russell's been knocked out before by I think it was AJ Hints. So um like Russell is one of the hardest opponents, but at the same time, he's been knocked out before. Wolverine, I don't think Wolverine's ever been knocked out cold, but he's been
Was it the
TKO maybe.
did was he knocked out cold when he fought Turpin or he got back up? But
Uh,
that was heavyweight. It was heavyweight
yeah,
though.
Turpin. I think Turpin. Wait, didn't Turpin beat him once? But it was when he missed weight.
Yeah, he missed weight, so the fight
Yeah,
was actually at heavyweight instead of light heavyweight.
yeah.
So he's
Um,
undefeated in light heavyweight.
yeah. I think I think he got TKO'd or something, but he never went
Yeah.
out cold. So if Russell has been out cold and then plus all the skill that Wolverine has, um, I think Wolverine's gonna get that.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
really thinking Wolverine's gonna um beat Russell, and then I'm gonna beat Allen, or maybe they'll figure out a way to get Turpin in there. But um, Wolverine's gonna win, and then I'm gonna win, and then I'm gonna finally get to fight Wolverine.
yes. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. June 27th at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. I'm excited. I will be there. I'll be in the media room. So I'll see you there and I'll be watching, but I just want to say thank you so much for your time and I really appreciate your I can't say it, vulnerability and
Yeah,
your honesty and I really hope that we can, even we can help at least one person with your
yeah,
story.
yeah. Me too. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, that I mean, dated people I talk to in the day to day, like my Uber driver, I talked to this one lady that her husband had passed away like 3 months ago or something like that. And it really just helped her telling her some of the stuff I went through with my mom passing. So Yeah, I'm hoping that too, but I think God's gonna work through all this in a big way.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Luke. I look forward to seeing you compete again, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.